Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing great. If you are new here, welcome. In this Python tutorial series, we will learn Python from absolute beginner to an advanced level in a just simple and practical way. In this class, we are going to continue learning Python with some interesting pattern programs or problems. So today we will learn how to print different patterns using loops. So let's get started. And before writing this code, there are few basic steps we need to follow. So first we decide the number of rows and columns, and then we use an outer loop to control the rows, and inside it we use an inner loop to control the columns. So finally we add a new line after each row, and then the important thing that is that the outer loop controls the rows and the inner loop controls the columns. So now let's see how to work with an example. So for this reason, we go to Spider and we type for in range bracket and for j in a range I plus on print I plus on so here finally print. So now let's run the program. So here the output is here. Say perfect. Now let's understand what's happening here. The outer loop controls the rows and the inner loop decides how many times the number will be printed in each row. So that's how we create this pattern using nested loops. So now let's try another pattern. Like we type 5 for I in range on plus on for j in range I print here hash and here so if we run this code or let's run it, then here is the output. So the basic idea is simple, like outer loop means rows and inner loop means columns. Now let's make another pattern, and this time instead of repeating the same number in each row, we'll print numbers starting from 1. So the pattern will look like this. So let's write the code here. For I in a range in plus on here for j in a range in plus on here print j and print. Here we run this code, or let's run the program. Here is the output. So notice that here we are printing the value of j, not I. That's why the number is starting again from 1 in every row. The main concept to remember is outer loop controls the rows and the inner loop controls the columns. Now let's try another pattern. So for this reason, we go to spider, and now this time the number of elements will decrease in every row. So like here is here. So the first row contains 5 ones and the number of elements decreases by 1 in every next row. So let's write the code like equal to 5. So print num and equal to bracket here and like num plus. So if we run this code, then we will show this. Here the outer loop runs from 5 down to on. The inner loop controls how many times that number is printed. And after every row we increase num by 1. So now let's another decreasing pattern. This time both the number and the number of elements will decrease. So let's try the code like n equal to 5 for I in here like a space. So here if we run this code, then we will show this. So both the value and the number of repetitions decrease in every row. Now let's make the pattern a little more interesting. This time the numbers will be aligned toward the right side. So to create this alignment, we need an additional loop to print spaces between the printing the numbers. So let's see the code like n equal to 5 for I in range on n plus 1 here for j in range so n minus 1 like print here double quotation and space quotation close and end equal to double quotation and bracket close. So for j in a range in plus on or I plus on, okay, I plus on. So print j and here we run the code, then we will show this. So the first loop prints the required spaces and the second loop prints the numbers. So that's what creates the right alignment pattern. So great. We have created 3 more patterns using nested loops, and in the next part we'll continue with the remaining patterns. Now let's try another number pattern. Here each row starts with the current row number and then decreases down to 1. So now let's write the code. N equal to 5 here, and for I in range on in plus on. So here for j in a range I 0 minus 1. So here like here if we run this code, that is the output. So the output loop controls the rows and the inner loop prints the numbers in decreasing order. So for example, when I is 4, the output is 4, 3, 2, 1. So now let's try one more pattern. Like this time both the starting number and the number of elements decrease with every row. So let's write the code. N equal to 5 for I in range 0 minus 1 here. So for j in range I 0 minus 1, and here print j so here print. If we run this code, then we will show this. Here the outer loop starts from 5 and that goes down to 1. The inner loop also prints the number in decreasing order. That's how we get this pattern. Now let's try another interesting pattern. So here the number at the beginning of each row is repeated and then the remaining numbers continue normally. So now let's write the code, and here for I in a range in plus on bracket close, here for j in a range in plus 1 here here and equal to so like print bracket close. If we write the code, then we will show this. Now let's create a multiplication pattern. So let's write the code like n equal to 8 and for I in range 1 comma n plus 1 bracket close here. So for j in range 1 comma 1 comma I plus 1 bracket close, then like int I multiplication j so and equal to quotation here we print. If we run this code, then we will show this. We simply multiply I and j to get each value. So for example, in the fifth row, we get 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. So finally, let's try another example like diamond star pattern. So finally, let's create a star pattern, and this pattern increasing up to the middle and then decrease again. Here increase and decrease. So it looks like a diamond. Let's write the code like n equal to 5 for I in a range 1 comma n plus 1 here n minus I here plus close into I quotation close. So for I in range n minus 1 0 minus 1 here we print double quotation close and multiplication bracket n minus I here multiplication I and close. So if we run this code, we'll show this. Yeah, it is like diamond pattern. So here the first loop creates the upper half of the diamond and then the second loop creates the lower half. So the spaces are used to keep the pattern centered. So in this class, we learned how to create different patterns using nested loops. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. Happy coding. Goodbye.